It's time for Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors on ESPN 1027 FM. Brought to you by Bowling Green Refrigeration, Heating and Cooling and Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center with your host Brian Webb. Also starring John Kirby and Sergeant J.D. Williams from Mohawk Outdoors, Josh Honeycutt from Realtree Outdoors. Also made possible by the Van Store Bowling Green in Glasgow, your Can-Am headquarters. Our national sponsor, Big & J Long Range Attractants. Segments in part by Rockcastle Shooting Center, The Rock, and Renegade Marine, featuring Realtree's Michael Pendley Timber 2 Table Wild Game Recipes. Made possible by Outback Steakhouse, Bowling Green. And all phone interviews via the Linex of Bowling Green hotline. Get ready for all things outdoors. Here's your host, Brian Webb.
Welcome to Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors on ESPN WWKU. Bowling Green, Kentucky, hearing us up in Glasgow for the 200th time, Las Vegas, and that's on 12:30 a.m. WCDS, Commonwealth Broadcasting, another sports broadcast here, and I'll tell you, we do it every Wednesday for those of you that may be tuning in for the first time. We start off with Michael Pendley, Timber to Table, but in the studio, before we get to Mike, we've got John Kirby, J.D. Williams, Josh Honeycutt, myself, Brian Webb. Tonight's show, we'll have our features, Del Hollow Dave from Del Hollow, obviously, and Ben Parker from Real Foot Lake in Tennessee. It's funny, Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors, we got two Tennessee guys on tonight, but we got a bunch of Kentucky boys, one Montana boy, and another one on the Linex hotline. Going to talk about some Outback Steakhouse, Timber to Table, small game recipes. Nobody does it better in the whole country. Bobby Flay would learn something if he came to this guy's house. Michael Pendley on the Linex hotline. What's up, man?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
We're good. I just wanted to remind you that Outback Steakhouse is delivering. And don't forget, Father's Day this weekend. Happy Father's Day to you, Michael, to you. John, you're a father, basically. I mean, we're going to, absolutely. I mean, you've done a great job raising a couple stepchildren there. And then, Josh, one of these days you'll have one on the way. So not yet. I've got a couple, and JD's a dad. Michael Pendley's a great dad with a huge family. Man, I'll tell you what, everybody out there listening, have a great Father's Day and get outdoors with your family. Michael, we got some great time here to hang out and jaw. We're opening the show as we always do with Timber to Table, Outback Steakhouse sponsor. Appreciate it. Get over there on Scottsville Road. They are delivering, but they got some great deals going on right now, and you can catch some of those on Father's Day. Michael, what have you been up to, man?
Well, first off, I want to say congratulations on 200 episodes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah! Yeah!
Can't wait to see what the next 200 bring.
Yeah, I like it!
Well, it's kind of summer grilling season for everybody. You know, grilling season never goes out for us, but not everybody likes to stand out in the snow at the grill. So I do realize that a lot of people grill more in the summertime. And one of our favorite things to grill are bratwurst. And we like to make our own a lot of times using venison or pork or whatever we happen to have handy. So this week's recipe is, you know, everybody loves a good Philly cheesesteak sandwich. You know, it's one of my favorite sandwiches, bar none. And if you can't decide between a good Philly cheesesteak sandwich or a grilled bratwurst, this recipe's for you because we kind of combined the two this week. We started with our venison and pork. I like to do a 50-50 blend when we're doing bratwurst like that. If you get much less than 50-50 on the venison to pork, it can be a little bit dry. So we like to add plenty of pork in there to keep it nice and juicy and keep the texture right. But we added to it some cheese. And we got a little tip on the cheese. A lot of times if you use just standard grocery store mozzarella, it melts as you cook it. It melts into the bratwurst. It's still good, but you don't get those little pockets of cheese. And to get those, you can go a couple of ways. You can get the high-temperature cheese that they use when they're making summer sausage, but it's kind of expensive. Or you can get string cheese from the grocery store. And that's what we did for this recipe. We just took some string cheese and unwrapped it and cut it up into little bitty pieces. And it's a little bit denser than most cheese, and it holds together really well in the heat. So we blended that into our pork and venison mixture, some green bell peppers that we'd sauteed a little bit, some onions, and some spices, and blended all that together and stuffed it in our bratwurst casings and twisted and tied them. And it just makes a really good summer evening meal.
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds good. I can picture Michael out grilling in 0-degree temps with a realtree robe on and some moccasins and
You
just make sure you keep that robe closed up.
Yeah, he's a Camel Crocs guy for sure.
I'll tell you what, that sounds good for the 4th of July.
Yeah, we'll be
I guarantee it.
See you there, Penley.
Yeah. Hope you didn't have plans, because you do now, Michael.
Exactly.
I think we made about 5 pounds of them the other day, and I think they lasted about a day around here. So they go pretty quickly.
You know, good bread is a key component of that too, isn't it, Michael? I mean, there's something about good bread. Like, I love a good crusty bread. How about you?
Yeah, I do. If I can at all, I'll go to the bakery to get our bread.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of really good local bakeries up here, and a couple of the bigger Kroger stores have really nice bakeries. So anytime you can get fresh, it's better, in my opinion anyway. Some of the stuff that sits on the shelf kind of sits there a long time. So
I get the munchies when I have to listen to this.
Every time.
Guaranteed.
Got the munchies.
Every single time.
What else is going on in the Penley household, Michael? What are y'all up to right now?
Not a whole lot. The boys are fishing this week down at Kentucky Lake. So getting some feedback from them here in a few other whether or not they're doing any good. I think they took their bow fishing bows with them. They were going to try to get in a little bit of noodling while they were down there. So they're going to have a full week. The rest of us are just kind of holding down the fort up here.
What are you guys doing to prep for this summer? You know, getting ready for deer season. What are you guys doing?
Well, we've got our minerals out. As soon as Pot Roast can get back up here and get a day off, we're going to get some of our cameras back out. We pulled a lot of them back after turkey season, cleaned them up, put fresh batteries in them, and so we got to get those back out and see what we've got left up here, what's come in, what's any new bucks that might be around, and just kind of take inventory right now.
Yeah, that's what we're doing too. You know, I've got almost all of my cameras and mineral out. I've got a little bit more to finish up this week, and I'll be done with that for the year or for the summer. And I'll be doing a lot of glassing from afar. We got a lot of soybeans this year, some corn, but a lot of soybeans this year on the farms that we hunt here. So we'll be doing some glassing from afar, doing some scouting, and I've got a few stands left to hang. But like I said, I do most of my stand hanging during the off season. There's a few places that I think might end up being productive this fall that I don't already have stands put up, so I might end up hanging a couple more stands. But like you know, we're kind of in cruise mode right now, just waiting on opening day and trying to find what that target buck's going to be. Because once we figure out what the target buck is, then we can kind of start formulating plans to put something in action and go after them.
Yep, we like to watch them. Same deal. We're doing a little bit of glassing. We've seen a few bucks that are starting to show some pretty good potential from a distance. We've not gotten any pictures of them yet, but we've seen them from a distance. And we'll just kind of hone in on over the summer and see what pattern they stick to and know where to go for opening day.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And this is a question for all of you, JD, Josh, Michael. Right now is a great time. If you got any big projects you want to get done, putting in water sources, hinge cutting, any number of things, anything on y'all's radar that you're going to do between now and into the summer?
Just for us, I've got a shooting house we need to get up. So we're going to be building that sooner the better to get it over there and kind of get it established in the food plot. So that's one thing we've got to do this summer.
Yeah, it's good to get that out early, Michael, isn't it, to kind of habitualize the deer to get them used to that.
Especially on big shooting house that's kind of out in the open like that. They're going to see it. You just want them to be used to it by the time season rolls around.
Right, and the same goes if you're going to transition to feeders or box stands or maybe transition to ground blinds this year. All of those things, you want to habitualize your deer to them. You want to get them used to it. Teach them that there's no reason to be alarmed by that. And the way you do that is get it out early, so that they can get used to it, like Michael alluded to.
That, and I'm pretty stoked about this summer. I'm going to be getting our lease in Texas up and going. We're going to be I'm pretty stoked. We'll be able to take about 30 veterans on hunting trips down there. And one thing I love about Texas is anybody that's like 50% or over disabled get their tags for free down there. So I'm pretty stoked. We'll be able to take a bunch of warriors down there. That, and while I'm here in Kentucky, I'm going to put the hammer on some coyotes just because I've been seeing a lot of fawns dropping, and it's that time of the year.
Absolutely. Going to be a lot of work to do in Texas, won't there, JD? Once that gets finalized, there'll be a lot of stuff to do, odds and ends and things to do to tie up to get ready. But like you said, it's going to be great to be able to have a large enough place like that to take not only big groups of people, but a lot of groups of people. So
right,
and
cool.
One Michael Penley and Josh Honeycutt. We'll have to,
right.
I'd love for all 5 of us to go down there. We'll have to make that happen. You're listening to Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors 200th episode on ESPN 102.7 on the Line-X Hotline, Line-X Bedliners, Roger Gino, one of our fine sponsors over there at the Porter Pike intersection. They do a great job on your truck and everything else that they do. It's an excellent job. Make sure you visit them. One Michael Penley does Timber to Table that you're listening to. You heard an awesome dish there, and he does it every week. It's also Outback sponsored, and Walkabout Wednesdays. It's Wednesday, so Walkabout Wednesday at Outback Steakhouse. You can choose for $10.99, Penley. You can't beat it. An Outback entree served with Aussie fries and a small domestic draft beer or a nice Coke product. I don't know if there's any question on what you picked there, but and then we're going to go 6-ounce center cut sirloin, center cut for tenderness, obviously. You know all about that. Or you can get the grilled chicken on the barbie. I mean, you can't beat that for $10.99 on Walkabout Wednesdays, and we're going to share some more of our sponsors here before we get off with Penley, but we got some time left. Michael, I'm going to ask the guys this question later, but I want to ask you now because we want to have you on later. If you were, as you know, I know your family and what you guys do and what you stand for, but so this is going to hit you harder than anybody that we've asked or will ask. What if you woke up, as much as you love the outdoors, hunting, you feed your family in a lot of cases from your land, and that is amazing to me. It's something that's been gone for many years, and you still live it, and I think it's amazing. But what if you woke up and somebody said, it's one of those Stephen King movies or something, you wake up and you're like, you're not there, there's nothing, there's no outdoors, there's no woods, there's no turkeys, there's no quail, that's almost the case anyways, but there's no fishing, no lakes. I mean, what would you do if the outdoors was ripped right out of your grasp?
I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that. Even if I'm stuck in a larger town for several days in a row, I start to get that itch.
Yeah.
I want to be outside. I want to be out in the country away from people. And, if we couldn't do that anymore, I really don't know what I would do. I don't.
I think I'm going to start playing ping pong.
You'd be like, what's his face?
We could start a traveling ping pong group.
Table tennis and hacky sack, baby.
Hacky sack.
Oh, goodness. I
never could do that.
I'd pull a hamstring doing hacky sack.
Yeah.
Somebody like, pew, my kneecap coming off.
Yeah.
I can get up to one, usually.
Yeah, I can do one.
Yeah, that first one I got down.
Don't let John Kirby fool you, man. He can take a sand wedge and a golf ball and stand there for an hour in like Tiger Woods and just ding, 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 ding. He could do hacky sack, but he's right. His knee probably would fall off, though.
Yeah. Guaranteed. I can get hurt watching TV, man. That's how frail I've become.
I used to trip over the foul line on the basketball court.
Oh, me. Michael, what else you guys got going? Did I see where your oldest was off to college now, Michael?
He's going to be going off to college this fall. That's going to be a little bit of an interesting transition.
Sure.
So
that's a big step.
Yeah, it is, and I'm excited for him, but we'll see how it goes.
That just means you and Pot Roast get first pick of the litter when it comes to stands.
Exactly.
I'm not sure how he's going to work it in, but I know we're going to need at least a couple deer and a couple turkeys from him, so he's going to have to fit that in somewhere.
That's right. He's got to earn his keep.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be a shock for your oldest being away from home and not having access to the land. I know my freshman year of college, I went to Fort Myers, Florida to play golf, and all of a sudden, here it is fall, and I've got nowhere to deer hunt, and man, are you talking about a shock to the system. Now, luckily, I had some roommates that were from down there that hog hunted, and so I got to do plenty of hunting and fishing, but all of a sudden having deer hunting ripped away from you is not a good feeling.
Yeah, lucky enough, I was close enough, about a 2.5, 3-hour drive to get home. And when Friday afternoon, once the classes were over, I couldn't get out of there fast enough. So, and then Sunday night, it was well after dark before I headed back too. So
I couldn't get out of class fast enough on any day.
I mean, it still kind of applies. It's just work instead of school now.
Yeah.
That's true. Penley, man, we appreciate you, and I want to real quick just run down our sponsors here. We got coming up, we got Del Hollow Dave from obviously Del Hollow, and then after that we'll sit down with Ben Parker, Parker Outfitters at Reelfoot. But before we do that, BG Refrigeration, Renegade Marine, title sponsor, has been with us since the very first show. That should tell you something right there, folks. Rock Castle Shooting Center came on with us very soon after we started. For the hunting segment, been doing it ever since. The Vance Store, Outback Steakhouse, obviously two great ones, but Linex has been with us, the Linex Hotline. I couldn't do this without the Linex Hotline. I love saying it. You're always on the Linex Hotline, Penley. And then, obviously, Commonwealth, we want to thank them. Mohawk Outdoors, oh, my goodness, love them. Nobody better. Big and J, long-range attractions, guys. Anytime that you're lucky enough to have a national sponsor like that, you're doing something right. But Penley, you and Josh, Realtree, you bring so much to the table, and I don't know that we could do this show without you guys anymore. It's so normal now with that situation. I wouldn't want to think about it, what it would be like. But I want to appreciate all of our sponsors for being there for us. And JD, to be honest with you, I think you, as special as you, John, and Penley, as you and John and Josh are. They just don't get any more special than having a real life. I'll call him a hero because he is one. He doesn't like to be called a hero, but he is a hero. And JD, this show, man, you're the heartbeat, man.
Appreciate it, man.
I love it. Penley, appreciate you, man. Everybody loves hearing this segment. I mean, it's something that's said to us. I know John's had people mention it to him, and I have myself many times.
Yep.
And just the knowledge that you guys bring to this show, it's absolutely amazing. And I appreciate you, man. Always being there for us.
Thanks, guys.
Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the 200th episode, Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors on ESPN 102.7.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
It's time to go fishing with Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center, 415 Commerce Drive, Litchfield, Kentucky, on SOKY's Great Outdoors.
All right, we're back, and for the 200th, there's no way around not having Del Hollow Dave on. We've got him on the Linex Hotline. Welcome back to the show, Dave. Big night for us.
Yeah. Congratulations on the anniversary.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, 200 of anything is, I'd say you've done something. I'm not sure exactly what we've done yet, but we've done something.
We haven't been kicked off yet.
Yeah, well, they haven't 86 us yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a good thing. But yeah, man, we love having you on. I mean, you're our recurring go-to fisherman, really. I mean, when it comes down to it, and we just appreciate you being on over the years, and still agreeing to come back when we ask you to. And I got to experience a day in the boat with Del Hollow Dave. It was one of my greatest experiences ever, and it was unbelievable. I tell everybody, when he's got an opening, grab it, because you're not going to have any more fun. You're not going to catch any more fish anywhere else with any other guide. He does it better. That's just the way it is, especially Del Hollow Lake. And you know what, Dave? I think you're going to fish with Nate Nobles coming down, one of the Rock Castle Gun Show hosts from up here, and he's excited about it, and I was excited to hear that he was going. But tell us what's going on in your world, man. The lake looks pretty good, I think.
Yeah, the lake's been fishing very well. We're actually having a really good comeback of our rainbow trout population. We had a kill back when we had the smallmouth kill 7-8 years ago. It killed pretty much 95-98% of the rainbows, but they've continued to stock them, and we've started to get back into some 5 and 6 pounders, which is a return to the good old days. I mean, we used to catch a ton of big trout out of there, and then it was just not on the table anymore for several years. And now, we've been getting 30, sometimes 40 trout in a daytime, and some, really good fish too.
How much of a decline in the trout population did you see, Dave? Did it get to where you just weren't catching any?
Yeah. We went from we were catching, 10 to 30 a day to where we caught 5 one whole year.
Wow.
That tells you the difference. Yeah. So, I mean, basically, for a few years there, I just stopped guiding for them because people would call and ask, and I'd be like, look, we got a kill, and it's just not there.
What was the reason for the kill? Did they ever determine that, or was it just one of those freak things that happens?
Well, it was quite a few factors. The core mismanaged oxygen levels. The fish just aren't on their radar, and I mean it's understandable. They've got bigger things like flood control and other stuff to worry about. That so that the fish are going to get in the way, they just get in the way. They're a casualty, and throughout the years, at one point they killed off the white bass. The crappie population declined in the 70s and has come back. And, this happened with the trout before when we had a good population of lake trout back in 90, 91, and all the lake trout died and pretty much all the rainbows. And, by 2000, we were catching 10-pounders again. So, we're looking at a return to those days, I think, in a few more years, because last year the biggest ones we were catching were maybe 18 inches. And now we're getting up to 24-inch trout, which is a good 6-pounder then usually. But we've got that going, and then I'm actually starting to pull the night crawler harness for walleye tomorrow. Probably going to be my first day this summer doing that. And that goes on through September, and that's really one of my favorite ways to fish. It's not for everybody. It's a real slow presentation, and we catch a lot of big walleyes doing it, but it's only really for walleye fishermen. The more action is going to be in trout or bass fishing. If someone's just looking for pure numbers and a whole lot of fun.
Speaking of action, Dave, I just want to tell you, our boy, and I know you like saltwater fishing as well. JD just got back on a great guided day out. Where are you guys at in the Gulf?
Yeah, just out off the Gulf of Destin. Went DC. This is my first time ever going DC fishing. We got a bunch of rain come in, and when you're in a wheelchair and you're on a boat, you get like double the movement. I thank God I took one of those like anti-nausea pills or something.
Yeah, the Dramamine.
Yeah, but it was it was a lot of fun. We ended up snagging onto a pretty good sized shark, about a 300-pounder, and I was strapped to the fishing pole, so that was a little sketchy. Felt like I was having like flashbacks of Afghanistan again, but it was
fight of your life, huh?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. We caught a lot of fish and brought home a lot of good meat.
Yeah, it looks
so
like.
Is that like king Spanish mackerel, or what were y'all catching besides the shark?
No, we caught some grouper,
Snapper too, didn't you?
Yep, snapper. I can't remember the name of that little redfish. It's red too, just like the snapper, but I can't. We were just good eating fish. I'm not really familiar with the saltwater fishing. I grew up in Montana, and all I ever caught was like trout. So I love the fact that trout's making a comeback out there at Del Hollow Lake.
Yeah. All of my saltwater experience is pretty much inshore. We've done a lot of snook fishing and redfish and that kind of stuff, cobia and other stuff. But I've never. That's one of my goals, to get there where you can't see the land.
Yeah. A really good cobia while we were down there. It was like the first fish she caught, and it was kind of weird because the women on her boat just started catching way more fish than the guys
did. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen that before, man. Those cobia are delicious. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
How's the smallie bite down there right now, Dave?
Oh man, our smallie population's probably the healthiest it's been in decades.
That's
we're
great.
Catching a lot of really big, fat, healthy fish. And we haven't had a shad kill in the lake in over a decade, and so there's just there's so much ample amount of bait for everything. That's funny. I'm sitting on the front of my houseboat, and there's a guy coming by me throwing off about a 2-foot wake in the no wake zone. He waves at me. It's
you
funny
gotta
how
love
people
that.
don't understand.
Yeah.
Or their definition of what a wake and no wake are.
Yeah.
But anyways, we've been catching a whole lot of, lately the morning bite's been really strong, and we've, yesterday morning, we set out, and I couldn't keep a pole in the water. I set the first 2 out, trying to set 10 out, and we got one and got another, so I had no poles in the water, and then we, tried to set some more out, and I think in the first 20 minutes, we had 10 smallies on it. It's like they were just on fire. We caught some really nice ones, some 20s, 21 inchers, Well, they're not going to be quite as fat as we were getting them back, in April, late March, right before spawn. But, man, they're still just quality fish.
Well, what a great problem to have, not being able to keep your line wet.
There's an interesting bite going on right now as well with topwater and smallmouth. June is a great month for that. Early in the morning, you'll see them breaking the top all over the lake, and it's not like on a point or anything like that. It's just going to be out in the dead middle of the lake where they're chasing alewives, and you'll see them busting all around you. You can throw something like a whopper plopper, a Zara spook, something like that, and really take advantage of it. And it's good from about 4:45 to about 8 or 9 in the morning, then it's over.
All I know is you messed up when you told us about the houseboat and the no-wake zone and the splashing. You better not get out there too early of a morning sipping your coffee on the deck railing there. We might have to do a little drive-by and get you wet.
Now, all that talking about catching fish, Dave, you got Webb over here shadow fishing in the studio.
He's seen me set the hook before.
You got any openings right now, Dave, if anybody wants to come down, or how could they figure out if you have
I had a regular client get an illness, and he canceled the next 3 days on me, and I went ahead and booked tomorrow and Thursday afternoon, but I've got Wednesday all day open and Thursday morning open as of now, and then my next openings are in July, after the 4th.
Awesome. Well, anybody listening that's got a couple of days free the next few days, I would highly suggest taking advantage of Dave's cancellation there. Be a good time and not too hot yet. Weather's kind of cooperated. We've had some rain here lately, Dave, but other than that, it hadn't been unseasonably warm, really.
Yeah. I mean, we killed it on Friday. Got poured on all day, and then you had 100% chance of rain on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We hardly got a drop any of those days. So, them weathermen doing their job like usual. They're wrong about 50% of the time. So,
just like a craps game.
That's right. 50% of the time they're right, 100% of the time. Something like that. I'm not sure how that goes.
Yeah, math. There was no math required on this show, I was told.
So. Yeah, exactly.
Dave, man, first of all, again, it's always great to have you on. And right there, your Facebook page is the best way to get a hold of Dave. He's not available often because he's so good. He stays booked up, but every now and then things happen. So if you're listening, take advantage of that, like John said, and get down there. It's very affordable. I mean, and you're going to catch fish. If anybody's going to catch them, Dave's going to catch them. I mean, I know that for a fact.
Now, if you get a second, take a look at my Facebook page, the Dale Hall of Dave page, and yesterday midday we fed a trout to a bald eagle, and we got a really good video of it coming down and grabbing it.
I saw that.
So that's a neat little thing to take a look at. That's awesome. Just the beauty and of the nature, all the grandeur down here. We're just fortunate to have this lake. Heck, if you're within 2 hours of it, you're lucky because most of my clientele comes from a lot further than that. So take advantage of the beautiful lake, whether you fish it or not.
Well, we're fortunate to have you come on, Dave. We sure appreciate you. I know I can speak for all of us in this room. We feel blessed to have you come on and share your time and knowledge with us.
It's my pleasure, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Dale Holiday right there. Sign up. Get in there often and let him show you how to slay some brownies. We'll be right back on Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors, episode 200, ESPN 1027.
Hunting in East Beverly Hills getting sorry every day. Me and Duke went as far back in the brush as you could go. The only thing we flushed out was a couple of real estate agents.
It's time to do some hunting on SOKY's Great Outdoors, brought to you by Rock Castle Shooting Center at Park Mammoth Resort, 22850 Louisville Road in Park City, Kentucky.
Thanks for listening, everybody. 200th episode, and we've got one of our regulars on, and he's a great regular to have. Nothing regular about him. Ben Parker, Parker's Outfitters, Real Foot Lake. Got him on the Line-X hotline. Welcome back, Ben.
I can't believe they let y'all do this 200 times.
I said the same thing earlier.
Ain't that the truth?
I'm just playing.
Ain't that the
I'm not.
truth? Yeah, we're not playing. We're serious.
I was serious.
I'm just playing. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Man, thank you, and you're awesome as well. And you're doing, I mean, there's nothing you don't have your hand in when it comes to the outdoors, being on land or on a body of water. It doesn't get any better than Ben Parker. Man, what's going on? We were kind of talking off air that you're building boats. I mean, you're running crews in and out. I mean, you guys just absolutely are, to the wall down there.
We've had a really busy spring, but, and a lot of people at Reelfoot Lake in April and May, but I tell you, the fishing has really gotten better even in June, and normally that's when people stop coming. They kind of slow down. They think it's too hot, but, man, they're still catching the heck out of bluegill on Reelfoot Lake. I mean, they're catching them good.
Have you had a chance to fish much this spring and summer, Ben?
I have been a few times to Kentucky Lake, bass fish up there, but I'm telling you, it's not that great there. This from pressure and carp and all kinds of stuff. I've been trailering down to Pickwick and having a lot better trips down there.
Is it true, Ben, that Kentucky Lake? I mean, they're just laying out on the banks. I mean, these Asian carp are just rotten. Right?
I don't know. There's only X amount of fish can live in the water, and the carp are outbreeding and out surviving everything else, and it's kind of putting pressure on other game species in the lake.
So what do you got going on right now? I know you stay busy enough, Ben, where you always got a lot on your plate, whether it's hunting season or not.
I do a few electronics trips still, teaching people how to read graphs in this time of year when the bass are out on ledges and stuff. But on the days that I'm not doing that, I'm doing like what I did today, and that's working on boats, getting stuff ready for duck season. We're running 5 groups of people a day this duck season, and it's going to be very busy.
Man, that's that class that you're doing, or the individual classes you're doing, as far as teaching folks how to use their graphs. Man, you're talking about being able to leapfrog folks and jump ahead of that curve. Like, take a class with Ben Parker and save yourself 5 years of floundering around.
Yeah, if you don't know how to, if you know just the basics of it, but you really want to know how to use it, I think it'll save you like 2 years of time and fuel trying to figure it out. Well, it just gets you right to where you need to be. And you still learn from where I leave you after a trip. And sometimes people like to do like one a year because the graphs are always changing. Yes. There's new updates and things coming out. So, it's like any other computer. There's something always evolving.
Always changing. Are you running 360 now, Ben, you personally?
I have been back and forth between Lowrance. No, not to answer your question. No, not the 360. If I was like doing some more crappie fishing, I think I would.
Yeah.
Where like you could sit there and kind of keep an eye on this steak mat you're trying to fish or something. I'm just still like meat and potatoes. I need a down scan, the side scan, and hours, and I'll find something.
Yeah. And are you doing classes on both Lowrance and Humminbird and other units as well, or?
Yeah, I've done them on all the units. It takes a minute to remember menu systems and whatnot when you're going back and forth. But more recently, I've been running Lowrance, but I've been doing a lot more Lowrance type trips, and I've got one of my guides, Jake Lawrence, over at Paris Landing. He's been doing a lot of the Humminbird trips because that's what he's been more focused on. I like them both. I really do.
You're listening to Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors here on ESPN 102.7, our 200th episode. We're in the studio with John Kirby, myself, Brian Webb, got Sergeant J.D. Williams on the mic, Josh Honeycutt, Mohawk Outdoors, J.D. Williams and John, and myself, and then Josh Honeycutt, Realtree. We're going to have Michael Penley. We already had Michael Penley. You already enjoyed that dish. Man, I tell you what, it's been so much fun over the years having you on, Ben, because you always got a cool story or something to talk about. But, I got 3 hunters sitting in here, man, and I know they'd love to talk some hunting with you.
Yeah, I like killing stuff.
Yeah, this room does too, for sure. How can people get a hold of you? Before we forget, how can folks get a hold of you if they want to come up and enjoy some waterfowl with you?
The easiest way is parkersoutfitting.com.
On Facebook?
parkersoutfitting.com, that's my website.
Okay, yeah.
and that's where everything that we do is listed on there. And we do a lot of stuff. Basically, I'm building trips, and I do something different than most people do. Like, if it's April and you want to go on, just for example, a guy's trip, and you want to go 2 or 3 days somewhere and you want to do 2 or 3 different things, well, I can build a trip where we'll take you turkey hunting one day, and we'll take you bow fishing one night, and we'll take you crappie fishing one day. Or if you just want to crappie fish all 3 days, I can line that up, or whatever you want to do. But between the hunting and the bow fishing and fishing on Reelfoot Lake and doing electronics trips, and I've got 2 lodges down at the lake I rent out, and then those double as 2 of my lodges at Reelfoot Lake we use for duck season. Then I lease 3 more houses. So I got a lot of stuff going on. We like chasing and killing and catching.
That's great. I encourage anybody listening, if you hadn't experienced Reelfoot, I mean, you can't even describe it. It's an incredible lake, the cypress trees, the views, the bald eagles, the waterfowl, everything.
Yep.
Man, I would just encourage people to get a hold of you and come down there and fish with you or hunt with you. And speaking of hunting, I'm sure you're getting ready for duck season already, working on things. What's going on? How's the season shaping up?
We still have a really high lake because we've had so much water, which isn't necessarily a bad thing this time of year. I'd rather it start out a little high at June than low at June because typically we don't get a lot of rain between now and duck season. But it seems like it hadn't stopped raining since last October, so who knows what's going to happen with rain. A lot of the duck season is just going to depend on what Mother Nature gives us, really. Last year it was like really tough weather conditions, and it was too much water. It didn't get really, really cold up north, and the entire Mississippi Flyway was kind of singing the blues. There were little spots, up and down the Flyway that did really good, but not very many.
Yeah, it was a stale year, wasn't it? One of the worst I can recall in a long time. And everybody, like you said, everybody up and down the Flyway seemed to struggle.
Well, if you don't see them, you can't kill them.
That's right. That's right.
But I will say that we consistently kill a few ducks every day this duck season, so we did a lot better than a lot of folks around us. But like I said, we work on this all year round, and we've got great blinds, great decoy spreads. We put a whole lot of work in it because we really like coming in with some ducks. But the last 2 or 3 days, though, like I had this. Last year I built this 26-foot. I had my friend Mark Pierce, who builds boats locally, one at a time. He's built me several custom boats, and he built me one. I got him to build one that was 26 foot long, 60 inches wide at the base, at the bottom. And I put 2 37-horse pro drives on the back, and I ran that during duck season last year, and it did really well. There were a couple of changes. When we did this last year, it was more or less an experiment. We've never done a surface drive boat that was 26 foot long. And we just made it as simple as possible. But after hunting on it for a season, there were some little tweaks and things I wanted to get welded and some little extra bracing, and I wanted to change the seating up in it. And so the last few days, Mark has welded new bench seats along both sides of the boat. We could put 12 people in it and take out across the lake. And it's not a speed demon, but we'll go 22 to 24 miles an hour with like a dozen of us in there. So that's plenty fast to get from the lodge out to the blind.
That's right. So you can actually, with a semi-full load, you can get that boat up on plane?
You can't. Well, you fill the boat up, and it'll get on plane with whatever.
Yeah.
Like if you'll watch my Instagram the week of July the 8th, we're going to have a work week July 8th, and we'll be posting a lot of pictures of what we're doing on the blinds and brushing and stuff. We've already been cutting a bunch of cedar, but I mean, I'll fill that boat as tall as many cedar trees as you can get in it from front to back, and be able to barely see over the top to drive it, and it'll just take off and go.
That's awesome. And Ben, you've got several blinds you work out of, I think up to 5 maybe you said. And you guys can support large groups of people, maybe like corporate outings. Do you get stuff like that on occasion and large groups of people?
It's almost all the time.
Sure.
We do groups of, we don't like mixing groups, so we need at least 4 people. But we can accommodate of groups up to 10 in a blind, okay? But we have some church groups that bring 20 people to go duck hunting for 2 or 3 days. And we split them up in different blinds and make sure we have the housing that we need to hold everybody. And we can do huge groups. We'll just split them up. But as far as a single group going to a blind, we need, our average group, I would say, is about 6 to 8. It's almost 6 to 8 in all of them. We have a lot of groups that are 10, and we have a lot of groups that are 4 or 5. But the average, I'd say, 6 to 8.
Ben, do you find these church groups, when they come, do a little better than the non-church groups?
They behave a lot better.
I just think maybe they're praying before they get there, and you're the hardest.
Hey, if they can pray and bring some drugs, let's turn them loose.
Whatever
and
works,
see what
right?
happens. Yep. But no, it's but we've got groups like that, and I've got a lot of corporate groups, and Brandeis Machinery out of Paducah, Kentucky. They bring a lot of people, and we have group businesses like that. They have sales reps that bring customers and interchange customers on a daily basis. So you could book 3 or 4 days with us and run a lot of key people that you want to get out on a duck hunt and spend some time with one-on-one in a duck blind setting and talk business or just have fun. It's a great setup to do that.
And I know, Ben, like any good guide stays busy, so folks need to get a hold of you early. You're probably booking right now. You might even be half booked up or more. Who knows, right? They need to get a hold of you soon, though, don't they?
If there's 60 days in a duck season, and I've got trying to book 5 seasons, realistically, you're not going to guide all 60 days. But if you could do 55 days out of 60, and you do that 5 times, that's 275 hunts. And right now I'm sitting on 216. So I need about 60 more hunts, and we'll be full.
So they better get at you pretty soon then.
Yep.
I got one I'll throw at you before we let you go, Ben. And this way, I want everybody to chime in on this one. In your life path, obviously the outdoors have been a major, major factor. This show is Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors on ESPN Radio, 102.7 FM. And I want you guys all to imagine, if you will, if you woke up tomorrow and there was no woods, there was no wasteland, there was no water bodies, there was no outdoors, no fishing, no hunting. I mean, how drastic would that affect your life, Ben?
Tremendously. That's what when you're a little kid, sometimes you get it, and when you get it that young, it stays in you forever. It seems like, and sometimes you can be middle aged and then experience outdoors for the first time and go, man, why wasn't I doing this all along? I've got a good friend of mine that just went through that experience over the last couple of years hunting with me, and just never hunted until recently. And he's just like, man, I wish I'd have done this all along. Now I really see what it was you were so obsessed with. But it's something you grow up doing for most of us, and it's just the way. That's just what we want to do. We like to go have fun. We like to hunt and like to eat what we kill and eat what we catch.
I tell you what, the pharmaceutical companies would like it if that happened, because they'd be selling a whole lot more depression medicine.
Yeah, crazy pills. I'd be first in line too. Yeah, I can't imagine, outside of, my wife and kids, and my family, I just can't imagine life without the outdoors. That's all I've ever done. It's, I'm not good at a whole lot of things in this world, but I'm good at the outdoors because that's all I've ever done. I should be, right? If that's all you ever do, you get pretty decent at it. And, man, I just can't imagine life without it.
JD grew up in Montana, and that's all he knows is ridge lines and canyons and valleys and hunting different kinds of game. I mean, from elk to, just mountain lions or whatever he'll take out. I mean,
big whitetail.
Yeah, big whitetails. JD, what would it mean for you not to have the outdoors anymore?
I look at some of these other countries that don't do hunting and stuff like that, and I'm just super blessed that we have the animals that we have here in the United States, and we're not having to transport animals into our country to hunt and stuff. But I'd end up in a mental institution. That's the whole reason I joined the Army.
Rubber room.
Well, I think that's pretty good sentiment on how to wrap that up on the Line X hotline with Ben Parker here, Parker's Outfitters. Reelfoot Lake, and I'll tell you what, dude, we just want many more times. We'd love to have you on, and you've just been a staple on the show since we started 200 episodes ago, man. And show wouldn't be what it is today without guys like you contributing and being part of it. And I kind of just wanted to get that take because my thought all night was, we've got 200 shows. It's been a blessing for one thing. We've got a crew here. If one of us is gone, it doesn't matter. It always sounds good. And it's one of those things when we got guys like you, as I alluded to earlier, that contribute like you do and are true outdoorsmen and are very, very high caliber outdoorsmen. And that's what we appreciate because you guys trickle down to some of these younger people like you mentioned and some of these novice guys like you also mentioned that just started a few years ago, Ben. And I just like to get that sentiment of what if we woke up and didn't have it anymore. I mean, it would just be devastating for everybody that listens to this show, man. And listen, best of luck to you in the future. And get that big boat ready to go and get ready for those crowds coming in. And you want to leave us with a final thought, Ben?
It ain't going nowhere. We're going to keep killing and catching stuff.
Can't stop us. You can take as much private public land as you want, but you're not going to stop us, are you, man?
This is the way of life that some of us choose to lead, and we've got the right in this country to do it, and that's what we're going to do.
Well said.
Amen to that. We appreciate it for JD and Josh and John and myself. Appreciate you, Ben Parker. Have a good one, brother. We thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. See you. Congratulations again. That's great.
You're the man. We'll be right back.
See you,
Thanks, Ben.
Y'all be good.
Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors on ESPN. We'll be right back after these matches. Actually, guys, we're going to shut it down. That's the end of the show, 200th episode. John, I want to tell you, thank you so much. You've been here with me before we had Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors. You're really the reason that I went to bat for this show because I knew we had something on the Sports Web a long time ago, and I was sick of it being 7 minutes long every week because it got to where we just got started, And Commonwealth Broadcasting, hats off to them. Can't thank them enough for giving me the nod and letting me get this thing done and going out and selling it. And, I'm going to finish up with Josh here in a second. But, JD, I just want you to know how much you've brought to this show. And, you're on your 100-and-something episode. You've been with us for a while, dude. And it's just been an absolute joy to have you. To be able to, first of all, for what you guys do and what you stand for, what a great platform for you, and it's great to have you on the show as well because you bring so much to it. Josh, we can't thank you enough for doing it, man. You've been on about as many shows as JD, and honestly, John, they just made the show that much better, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely, man. They fit right in, and like I couldn't imagine life without hunting. I couldn't imagine doing the show without these two guys. Like you said, they add so much to the show, and it's just a blessing to get to do it with them.
Yeah, it's been fun, and it's been a big part of my life the last couple of years, and it's a great resource, and we have fun with it. It's all about having fun. It's all about having fun, and hopefully we educate others out there from time to time and shed a little bit of light on something that maybe the listeners didn't know about, and hopefully we entertain from time to time too. At the very least, learn from our mistakes. So,
that's right.
It's been fun.
Man, that's well said, Josh. Well said, buddy.
I'm still in awe to be here with you guys. It's been a tremendous experience, and definitely made me a lot more comfortable. I was a little skittish first time I ever did this, and over time it's like
you done well because you just got back from Boston. I saw your speech, man. You lit that crowd up.
Try to I love doing what I do, and I wouldn't be able to do it without the guys like you guys, backing me on everything I do, and look forward to a lot more hunting adventures and a lot more awesome stories to tell all you.
Well, we're going to do it. We're going to do 200 more, John, if we got anything to do with it. Folks, thank you for coming on back every Wednesday. We were Thursdays forever. Everybody transitioned well with us, and I think it even worked out better to do it middle of the week. Folks, thanks for listening to Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors 200th episode. We'll be back next Wednesday. ESPN 1027.